So we now have episode 20 of the final season of The Walking Dead. This episode is called What's Been Lost, and if you haven't seen the episode yet and you don't want to get spoiled for you, do not listen to this review because this review is going to contain full spoilers for the episode. You've been warned. So of course last week's episode wrapped up with Rosita being taken captive by two men wearing complete black costumes. I and most people thought that these two people who stole Rosita were connected to the Commonwealth, to the CRM. I do that all the time. Why do they have the two of them starting with the same letters? But I thought, are they connected to the CRM? Is the Commonwealth going to be taking our group and then sending them off to the CRM? Could that be why all these spin-off shows are happening? Not only looking for Rick, but looking for the rest of our group. And it was exciting to hear all this, thinking, okay, is that what it is? What happened in the episode is still very exciting. It's my own fault for getting my expectations higher with the CRM, because the CRM do not make an appearance in this episode. We got 4 episodes left, but the episode kicks off and we see Carol in her bakery talking to Ezekiel, turns around to then talk to Ezekiel again, and he's gone. My big question here is, Ezekiel gets captive here, of course. Why did he do it so quietly? Like, literally, she didn't even budge with something behind him, so it's not like he... even if they went behind him straight away and drugged him to make him collapse, he would have hit the ground, so you would hear movement back there. She heard nothing. Even if they just kind of leapt on him, he probably would have served up a couple kicks. Something would have happened there. It's just very weird that she heard nothing in this process. But then 2 men come in to try and get Carol, and then Carol, being Carol, gets away. Just makes the two of them look like absolute idiots. The fact how easily Carol is able to get away with. But we've seen Carol do quite some bad stuff in episodes like No Sanctuary and JSS. Just Carol's a badass, so it's never surprising when Carol's able to kick some ass. But then she goes looking to see, has Daryl been captive? She comes out, she sees the trolley beside Daryl has been ransacked. His bike is still there. She goes in and we get to see Daryl fighting off one of them. He's got one dead in the ground already, and then the other one's got stabbed right in the shoulder while he's choking Daryl on the ground. You know Daryl's going to get out of the situation, but I was of two minds. I was thinking, is the walker, is the person dead in the ground, is he going to come back as a walker and bite the guy while Daryl's fighting him off, or is Carol going to be the one to help him? I was assuming it was going to be the walker, but no, it happened to be Carol to be the one to hit him over the back of the head with a plank of wood. Daryl gets up, the guy gets bitten by the walker. Daryl then puts down the guy and the walker. So that was quite a good scene. And then Daryl's like, they've taken the kids, they've taken everybody, so now they're on the hunt to try and get our group back, and the only person they know of that they can go to is Lance. And when they go to Lance, the scene of them breaking Lance out for one was really, really cool, seeing how smart they were when they see one soldier going back and forth down the hallway and the other one standing at the end of the hallway, so they take the one at the hallway down first, and then the guy going back and forth, Carol shoots him in the knee, he hits the ground, Daryl then knocks him out and ties him up. Really, really great. Just these two survivors are just awesome together. But then they go in to see Lance, and you see him with the friend that that Pamela killed and left in the room. Lance has tied down Sebastian. He's chained him up to the ground, and then he's cutting pieces off his friend to feed Sebastian Milton. Weird. Very weird. I don't know. I'm assuming the only reason he didn't just put Sebastian Milton down is because he thought, if I take care of this walker version of him, maybe Pamela will let me go. But no, you see him literally covered in blood in the corner, holding onto his coin, just repeating the same thing over and over again, making you think he has lost his mind. But we do get to see them get ready to leave, Carol and Daryl. A big shootout happens, so Carol goes off ahead of time with Lance, and they start making their way to the destination they have to go to, while Daryl stays back to try and pretty much clear the path. Pamela Milton then goes there, and she sees that Lance has destroyed Sebastian's head. His head is in pieces. You can see a bit of his jaw. That's about it. The rest of it is just brains on the ground, and he left his coin in her son's brains just to leave a message that, yes, I'm the one who done this to your son. Not only am I responsible for killing him the first time, but I am the one who destroyed his face, so you'll never get to see your son again. Just quite brutal on on Lance's part, something that you can tell he's done with the Milton family, and he is just getting whatever little bit of revenge he can possibly get on Pamela because of what she has done to him in recent memories, where locking him in prison, putting him blame for everything, and just letting him spend the rest of his days in prison after everything he's done for her. He's just getting his last little bit of revenge towards her, and it was quite good to see. But while this is all going on, Pamela Milton has taken everyone from our group that we can see. The only people we've seen that haven't been captive are Yumiko, Daryl, and Carol. We see Connie at one point talking to Yumiko, saying how, oh, I almost got taken away, I stabbed the guy, I came to here to make sure to see where he was in the hospital, and I was going to follow him to where he was going to be going. Yumiko says, oh no, I'll do that because I'm not going to be taken captive, because I am going to be representing the Commonwealth in the court case against Eugene Porter, because Pamela wants her to be the lead attorney to show that the Commonwealth is strong. She wants to send a message towards all of the people that they have Yumiko, someone who's been with Eugene since, for as far as I know, the start of the apocalypse, then going against him into the trial. The only reason Yumiko would do this is to get her people back. So then Yumiko goes to talk to Eugene. Eugene, he's quite distraught. You can tell by him, he feels like it's the end of his days. He's getting close to being killed. He says, there's no way of me getting out of this. So he's saying to Yumiko, do what you have to do to get our people safe. I want you to get our people safe. So then she goes to her press conference. She then gets everyone at the Commonwealth who is there present to congratulate her brother on just being an amazing surgeon, how great he is. And then she says, I am going to be representing Eugene Porter against the Commonwealth, because how she's been with him for years and they care for each other. There was something on the radio, but I couldn't quite make out what it said. I kind of thought it was about Lance escaping, but I'm not really sure. But I think that's what triggered her to say, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want here. I am not going to be bending the knee to Rob from Game of Thrones for Pamela Milton. So now Yumiko is going to be working for Eugene rather than the Commonwealth. I wonder if that will make Pamela Milton then arrest Yumiko and send Yumiko off to wherever our group is, just by the fact that why would she keep Yumiko there? Yumiko is clearly a great lawyer if Pamela Milton has made Yumiko her lawyer. So why would Pamela just let her do the trial against Eugene, unless she is completely rigging the election and just having Eugene go in there already lost and it's just a show, which is what it seems like. But I cannot see Yumiko just bending the knee in the court scene and just kind of going along with it. She is going to give everything she has to get Eugene safe. So I don't really know why Pamela would even bother risking it. She should probably just get rid of Yumiko. It probably will be a lot easier. But we do get to see Lance and Carol inside this cave with these bunch of walkers. Pretty cool. They're walking in, all of a sudden a massive smell must have hit them, because like Lance immediately puts his hand to his mouth and goes, oh my god, is that skin? There's just skin just lying on a rock. I thought it was, my first thought is Whisperers. Is this like a Whisperer hideout or something? But no, they end up killing a bunch of walkers. Lance and Carol then go off and they come across the Commonwealth soldiers. The Commonwealth soldiers say, just report to Pamela Milton that we found them, but then they tried to jump us, so we had to put them down. And then Daryl comes out, saves them all, as expected. Did anyone think Carol and Lance were going to die here? But no. Then Daryl kills him. Daryl kills all of the soldiers. They make their way to the compound where Lance is saying all of our group is. He's saying how there's a working train, which us comic book fans are very happy to hear that, because if you know the comic books, during this time period in comic books, a storyline was with Eugene working on repairing a train so that he can get supplies from Alexandria to the Commonwealth a lot quicker, but it looks like they've already done that. So Lance says it's so they can get supplies quicker to other communities, but then Carol says, is it that, or is it so you guys can conquer other communities? But then their plan is now to follow the train to wherever they're taking our groups. End of the episode, you see our group is not in a train, they're in buses. I don't know where they're going. From the trailer for next week, it looks like our group is going to be slaves in repairing a community. But where is this train going? I don't know. This seems to be what Carol and Daryl will be following rather than the buses. Maybe I misheard. Maybe I misunderstood what was going on. But it seems like they're going to be following a train rather than the buses that our groups are on. And once Lance brings them where they have to go, the whole time Lance was trying to talk Carol into a much larger world, saying how we can keep the Commonwealth the way it is. We can, as in, we could have it being a 50,000 group, but we can do it differently. We cannot do what you did before the outbreak. That's what you do now. It's what you want to do is what you can do. Lance is trying to set it up where he knows what Carol wants. Carol wants, like, pretty much what Rick Grimes wants. That's what Alexandria and those groups their mindsets are, and Lance knows that. So Lance is trying to trick her into doing that. But Carol and they're like, we know we don't trust you. You go off. You can go off. He's like, I'm not going to survive there. And they go, well, it's either you go off and do whatever the hell you want, or we're going to kill you. So then Lance starts walking away. He sees a gun. He starts to turn around to shoot them. And then he gets an arrow through the neck by Carol. I think everyone predicted Carol to be the one to kill Lance, just because who has Carol killed? I can't remember the last villain Carol killed. So it was great to see Lance on the ground slowly dying with an arrow in his throat. Part of me is disappointed because I actually really like this character and I would like to see more of him, especially because it definitely seems like he's got somewhat of a CRM relationship, so I was interested to see that. Maybe now that Lance is dead, the CRM is going to come in checking up. He could be a spy. If you watch World Beyond and Huck was a spy for the CRM, then for all I know, Lance is a spy for the Commonwealth, or for the CRM in the Commonwealth. So I wonder how all that's going to play out. Either way, Carol and Daryl are now on their way following a train. Lance is dead on the ground. He's slowly walking around with an arrow in his throat. We see our group on a bus with bags on their heads. They're all being drugged to sleep. You see Ezekiel in there, who looks like he just woke up, gets drugged, falls back asleep. Just very scary situation our group is in. Ezekiel is someone that I can see dying, definitely. Him being the one to be kind of on show in the bus is a surprising one, especially because we know Negan is in that group. I assume Maggie is in that group. I assume everyone's in there besides Daryl and Carol. So Ezekiel being the one to be shown is quite surprising. So is that them hinting that Ezekiel's going to die? I'm expecting the series to wrap up with the death of Ezekiel. He's a massive character. He'd be a big character death, so I'm expecting him to be one of the big character deaths in the show. But I'm really excited for episode 21. It looks to me like they are all back in Alexandria, but it doesn't look like they're there of free will. It looks like they are there to rebuild Alexandria, so then they can use that as an outpost. It's outpost 22, so it looks like they are just using them as slaves to just rebuild the community and then just take it from there. I'm excited. We got 4 episodes left, which is exciting. Also disappointing. I don't want the show to wrap up. But if you want to know my thoughts on the remaining 4 episodes of The Walking Dead, click that subscribe button so you can come back and hear all my thoughts on that. And as always, thanks for listening.